Good morning Year 3 and welcome to today's maths lesson. Now today there isn't a white rose maths video, so I'm going to talk you through today's maths lesson because it will really help you with your learning. So we're going to be looking today at multiplying numbers by 10. Okay, now as usual we're going to start the day with a tough 10 and some questions to help with our addition. Okay, so work your way through those as you have been doing. One point to remember actually, I know some of you have been struggling with the fractions questions on the tough 10. Now to find a fraction of something, like a third of something, we need to divide 12 by 3. Okay, so we do 12 divided by 3 to find out the answer to a third of 12. Okay. Then there's some times table practice, and I've put some division questions today to help you. But remember, if you know your times table, so you know your 3 times table, you can work out these questions here. You'll be brilliant at them. Okay, you can just count up in your 3s till you get to that number. Right, so the main lesson then, multiplying by 10. So what we're going to think about today is the rule for multiplying by 10. So I'm just going to show you with an easy example to start with, 4 times 10. So when we multiply a number by 10, the digits all move one place to the left. So my 4 in my ones column moves to my tens column. Now we can see in the ones column here, there's a gap, there's a space. So to fill in that space, we need to add a placeholder 0 into the space in the column. So we add a 0 into the ones column because there was a gap there. So 4 times 10 should equal 40, okay? Because I've added my placeholder 0 onto the end of 40. Brilliant. Now let's look at 12 times 10. So this time I've got 1 in my tens column and 2 in my ones column. So when I'm multiplying by 10, my 1 is going to move into my hundreds column and my 2 is going to move into my 2 ones are going to move into my tens column because everything moves one place to the left. And again, what can you notice in the ones column? There's nothing there. So what we need to do to show that there's nothing there, we need to add a placeholder 0. Okay, so we add a placeholder 0 onto the ones column to fill that empty space. Brilliant. So 12 times 10 equals 120. Let's look at another example. So we have 29 times 10. So I've got 2 in my tens column and 9 ones in my ones column. So what happens when I multiply by 10? What happens to those digits? That's right, they move one place to the left. So I have 2 in my hundreds column and 9 ones that were in my ones column before. I now have them in my tens column. So 9 tens in my tens column. Then I've got a gap in my ones column. So I know that I need to add a placeholder 0 to fill that empty space. So 29 times 10 equals 290. Okay. 54 times 10. So I've got 5 tens in my tens column and 4 ones in my ones column. Everything is going to move one place to the left. So where would my 5 tens be? Where would my 4 ones be? Pause the video and have a think. That's right. My 5 tens would now be in my hundreds column and my 4 ones would now be in my tens column. Now what happens with that gap there? How do I show that in my answer? That's right, I add a placeholder 0. So the answer to 54 times 10 is 540. Now this one, 30 times 10. Now we know in 30 that there's 3 tens in the tens column and there's actually 0 ones in the ones column. So we still do the same thing though when we're multiplying by 10. We move everything one place to the left. So my hundreds now have 3 in them. My tens now have a 0 in them. And my ones also now need to have a 0 in them because to show that empty space. So 30 times 10 equals 300. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to pause the video and explain how 45 times 10 works. What do we need to do? Brilliant. How did you get on? So what you should have said was that your 4 tens moved to the hundreds column, your 5 ones moved to the tens column, and then we add a placeholder 0 onto the end to fill in the empty space. So the answer to 45 times 10 should equal 450. Fantastic, guys. Now then, it's your turn. So we have 10 questions like we've just done to work through. So you can just copy those out onto paper. Okay, so multiplying those numbers by 10. Then we've got to deepen it. So it says there are 24 donuts in each pack. Miss Robertson buys 10 packs. How many donuts does she have? And then please don't worry, I don't eat that many donuts. Okay. And then a final problem today. Annie has multiplied a whole number by 10. Her answer is between 440 and 540. What could her original calculation be? How many possibilities can you find? So we know that she's multiplied a whole number by 10. So have a think, what number could she have started with? Perhaps she could have started with 45 or 45 times 10. Would that work? What about 52 times 10? Would that still give her an answer in between those numbers? Would something like 62 work? Have a think. Okay, now as usual, the answers are on the next few slides to help you. Okay, so I hope that video has helped you multiply by 10. Now remember, when we're multiplying by 10, everything moves one place to the left, and then we need to add a placeholder 0 into that empty space, don't we? Okay, fantastic. Thank you for working so hard, Year 3. That is brilliant learning.